So I got into a bit of a discussion on X today with somebody who was questioning the timing of Robotaxi. When would it become a real thing? And so here is kind of a summary of my argument. Let me know in the comments below how you might respond to my argument, or maybe you think it's right, maybe you think it's wrong. How would you change it? Number one, the question is, would you, someone who's questioning this whole situation, would you currently ride in a Waymo? Would you be afraid to ride in a Waymo, or would you pretty much, if it was an opportunity, you'd ride in one? Well, then, two, if yes, you would ride in a Waymo, should Tesla start the Robotaxi program when it meets exactly the same or slightly better safety capabilities as a Waymo? Would that be the timing? Instead of Elon's maybe more aggressive timing where it would be safer than a human. I'm not sure Waymos are safer than humans. So, but at least we know that people are riding in Waymos every single day right now. So should Tesla confidently put robotaxis out as soon as they're safer than a Waymo? And number three, if you agree with both of those, or if you have some thoughts with regard to those, anyway, do you think Tesla will be as safe as a Waymo by July? Or do you disagree with Elon Musk and the senior staff of Tesla? And if you know more than them, or you think you know more than them, how can I take you seriously? So there's my three-part question. Let me know again in the comments what you think about all that. This is from Nimbus82. He says, I'm an engineer developing ADAS systems. My job is to look at mobile eye data, radar data, LiDAR data, and to develop algorithms to fuse them together. FSD 11, not 12, 11 was for me, Nimbus. For him, it was the tipping point. I remember watching it and I could see it. It was as clear as day. With FSD 11, they had solved perception with vision only, which is the hardest problem of all. The rest was just a matter of time. On that day, I took everything I owned and went all in on Tesla. The return so far has been extraordinary, but I'm certain it'll be nothing compared to what's coming. Generational wealth is what he's expecting. All right, so the Eurozone is in real trouble, just generally. All of a sudden, they're calling for another election in Great Britain. We've got the Germans and the French are both, having problems in their politics, trying to get it all straight, and rioting in the streets. It's in Canada too. Montreal is on fire again. These countries these democracies, so-called, are in real trouble and are going to need to really take a hard look at themselves soon, or I don't know what's going to become of them. Actually, some of the northern European countries and Spain and Portugal seem to be doing better than the French, the Germans, the Italians, the English right now. But anyway, so this is from Alex, who I've found to be politically not very smart, but on Tesla stuff, he's always bringing us some good stuff. Alex_Avoigt, Avoigt. And he says an overview of the largest current German automotive layoffs and cutbacks. At least 130,000 jobs are at risk in Germany in the automotive industry. That's about how many Tesla employs in Austin. So 130,000 jobs at risk. Bosch, in view of the crisis in the automotive industry, the supplier Bosch is planning to cut up to 5,500 jobs. More than two-thirds of these, a total of 3,800 jobs, are to be cut just in Germany. Volkswagen. At Volkswagen's core brand, VW, tens of thousands of jobs are under scrutiny, are likely to be axed. The company's already announced a massive cost-cutting program in September, and they just announced another one the other day. I'm surprised they didn't bring that up. Plant closures are not being ruled out. In fact, that sound like they're going to do them. He seems to be a little behind on this one, I think. Schaeffler, the automotive supplier, and mechanical engineering company, announced on the 5th of November that it would be cutting a total of 4,700 jobs in view of ongoing problems in the industrial division. Of these, 2,800 in Germany. 10 locations in Germany and a further 5 in Europe are affected by the job cuts. ZF, the automotive supplier ZF, plans to cut to 14,000 of its 54,000 jobs. That's just over a quarter, I think. Yeah, we've got Ford. The U.S. car manufacturer Ford wants to cut almost 1 in 4 jobs, another 25%, just like the last one, in its most important European site in Cologne. By the end of 2027, 2,900 jobs will be cut in Germany, et cetera, et cetera. It still has almost 20,000 employees in Cologne. All Audi, thousands of jobs will be cut at Audi, the end for the car plant in Brussels, and 3,000 or so employees there should be let go by as a first step. The target in reduction of around 15% would be 4,500 jobs in Germany. Continental's cutting jobs on the automotive division in particular. Savings of 100 million euros is the goal. One of the 7,150 jobs that are to be cut in the division worldwide, more than 4,500 will be in Germany. Deutz, Cologne-based engine manufacturer Deutz, pressing ahead with their plans to cut. These are just a few of the big and well-known names, but the majority of job cuts are happening at the tier 1 and 2-tier supplier level. And of course, what does that mean? Tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, there will be cuts in those as well, and related cuts in things like office supplies and whatnot, rentals, industrial rents, commercial rents. Okay, then this from Barron's. They say that it was quite a weekend. It was a quiet end, it says here, to the week for Tesla stock until traditional automakers did something surprising. Shares of the electric vehicle maker added 3.8% on Friday, closing at 352.56. In comparison, the S&P and Dow were up just 0.4 and 1% respectively. Shares closed at a new 52-week high Friday and hit a new intraday 52-week high, 361. Shares finished up about 4% from the lows of the day at 338. One factor that seemed to help was EV credits. The automotive lobbying group Alliance for Automotive Innovation, which represents many traditional automakers, is leading efforts to keep the EV purchase tax credits around. The incentives, which make up a $7,500 qualifying EV purchases, were likely on the chopping block. Well, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But, we expected the majors to fight this. Traditional car companies don't make money selling EVs. This is true. But they do make a lot of money selling traditional cars. Investors might assume Tesla would want the credits more than General Motors or Ford. But there are a couple of reasons the overall automobile industry prefers to keep the credits. For starter, car companies don't like dealing with rapidly changing policies. They commit billions in plans. Yes, I agree with that. Second, automakers see a trend. BEV adoption has gone slower than most investors, analysts, and companies expected, but BEV penetration of new car sales is still moving higher. And then it says here, quote, battery electric vehicles are coming with or without the credit, says Freedom Capital Markets analyst Mike Ward. He says, I'm sure manufacturers want to keep the credit. For BEVs to be successful, the manufacturers need the vehicles to be profitable. Yeah, okay. They need the way to solve that is talk to Elon and get FSD going. All right, credits, which lower the price for consumers, help with that. Credits or not, investors believe Tesla will benefit from CEO Elon Musk backing Trump's successful presidential bid campaign. While Trump might still eliminate the EV purchase tax credits, which would make EVs, including Teslas, less affordable, he is also likely to set a federal standard for regulating self-driving cars, which I think is a good idea. And pretty much, I watched the All In podcast today. All 4 of them thought that was a fine idea. All 4 of them are thrilled with the appointments that Trump is making and the speed at which things are going and the entire plan, and one of those 4 is liberal and one of them is, on the fence. Super interesting story here from about Neuralink. But before we go to that, this is Randy Kirk. Hit the like, subscribe, notify. Why do you want to hit notify? Because later on tonight, about 7:45, not about exactly 7:45 California time, you can watch another Brian Wang video, and this one is absolutely out of this world. Why do I say that? Because it's about Mars. It's about the starships that are going to go in 2 years to Mars. Be 5 starships going to Mars. They're going to be loaded up with all kinds of fun things. And he's going to talk about what's going to be in that payload, what they're going to do once those payloads get to Mars, how they're going to unload the payloads. Oh, yeah. Optimus robots, which will be lots of Optimus robots on each of those ships, and also a bunch of Cybertruck bottle openers. No, Cybertruck themselves. A lot of Cybertrucks. I think he thinks there'll be 50, 10 on each ship or something like that. Anyway, fascinating story. You got to watch it. I'll later on, I'll put up the card. Okay. A super interesting story here, though, about Neuralink. The labor, I'm sorry, this is from Business Insider. Neuralink, Elon Musk brain-computer interface company, is looking to hire manufacturing technicians, and microfabrication specialists. The company, which is developing a device Musk has compared to a Fitbit in your skull, posted the job listings on its website last week. It held multiple hiring events in its facilities in California and in Texas this month. And then the recruiters are looking for these engineers. 2 manufacturing technicians working at the company based on public LinkedIn profiles, with the employees joining in 2021. What? I don't know what it even said there. The roles will help boost production, according to one post. You will be instrumental in ramping production to accelerate progress towards our goal of restoring autonomy with those with unmet medical needs. Manufacturing technicians in Texas would be paid $22 an hour flat rate to produce brain implants and accessories, and are required to work extended hours and weekends. Duh, if you work for Elon. In California, technicians would be paid between $28 and $44 per hour to manufacture the R1 surgical robot, which is designed to fully automate the actual implantation. So they got to make a bunch of those, and then they got to make a bunch of the implants, and then they're going to start setting up surgeons across the country to put these things in. That's me talking, not the article. Musk has said Neuralink's technology will eventually allow people to send messages or play games using only their thoughts. Initially, it will work to help people with neurological disorders. The company received FDA clearance in May 2023 to launch human trials. So far, it's reported implanting the device in 2 human patients, and 1 patient had issues with the wires coming loose, but they were able to take care of that with an over-the-air update. They've also had approval now in Canada to start doing trials up there. Ting-Long Day, DAI, a professor of operations management and business analytics at Johns Hopkins, told Business Insider that job postings indicate Neuralink is staffing up for volume production. That is wild, he says, for a company that's only implanted 2 devices. But in some sense, this isn't really odd if you consider who's running the business, pointing to Musk's experience with production hell at Tesla as perhaps influencing Neuralink's focus on quickly building and manufacturing capabilities. I think it has nothing at all remotely to do with production hell. It has to do with Elon Musk being the preeminent manufacturer of whatever in the world. A separate listing for a microfabrication technician was posted 2 weeks ago and is no longer accepting applications. That role lists experience working in a clean room, a space designed to limit contamination. Neuralink also appears to be hiring for manufacturing roles for its surgical robot. John Donahue, a neuroscientist at Brown University, who worked on brain-computer interface BrainGate, described the hiring strategy as unusual. Typically, at this stage, you'd be handcrafting the device. You wouldn't be expecting to scale production until you fully finalized it. Donahue helped. Now, what does this tell you about Optimus? Yeah, right. They're going to come up with, they're going to make a few hundred out of, and then they're going to make, and then when they get to the number 3 one, maybe they'll make 1,000. And no. In 2026, they will be making hundreds of thousands, 100,000 or more, 100,000 minimum. The FDA previously rejected Neuralink's bid for human testing in March 23. The agency cited, why do I care about any of that? Donahue believes the Neuralink is at least 7 years from the FDA approval required to bring a device to market. Any changes to the device, even small ones, would require the company to get further approvals. I bet you they're a lot closer to 7 years as a result of something that we just talked about a minute ago, something to do with presidency changing hands. Donahue says Neuralink's apparent manufacturing push was outside the usual process. Outside of the manufacturing roles, Neuralink has more than 30 full-time jobs listed on its career page. It employs more than 600 people at Neuralink, including several former Tesla and SpaceX employees. It's filed plans for a multi-building facility outside of Austin. In July 2024, the company filed construction plans for a 14,112,000 square foot facility. Wow, that's big. As usual, I think that's quite the story there on Neuralink. Just one more feather in the cap, it looks like, for Elon Musk, but we kind of expected this one to be a biggie. Well, okay. So I just watched a couple of long podcasts today. I'm going to recommend both of them. I watched the All In podcast. As always, it's really, really good. But in addition, you might want to check out Bari Weiss. If you don't know how to spell, that's Bariwiss. You might want to watch her Free Press podcast. It's about a week ago that it came out. It's the interviews with Peter Thiel. I'm not always that taken with either one of them. I've seen them in various other situations, and I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. She's an ex-lib that's become another one of these Democrats that's moved over to the right side of the aisle. And Peter Thiel is a libertarian who has also been moving right. But this time they both seem to have a lot of synergy and really interesting discussions. She really had great questions. He even commented a couple of times about how hard the questions were, but they were astute. So anyway, it's a couple of hours long. You might want to watch that one. Thiel, by the way, did agree that tariffs will be more nuanced than the Trump campaign statements. Yeah. He's watching my program. See, he's paying attention. Anyway, and I didn't realize that Peter Thiel put big money behind JD Vance. And JD Vance, I guess we used to work for him. So he's a big piece of why JD Vance is where he is today. Also, I just wanted to mention, I'm coming up next week. December 1, November 27th, I think is the actual date, maybe 28th, something like that, was when I started this channel. So 2 years ago, it's been on for 2 years now. We are just a little bit shy. In fact, by the end of December, we should hit 10 million views. We're running up 27,500, I think, subscriptions. Well, you can look below and see how many there are there. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm pretty happy with progress. I want to thank you, every one of you, for watching and maybe telling your friends about it, maybe posting on X or posting wherever you post. Maybe you're Patreon. That would be really fantastic if you've done that. I want to really thank you if you've bought some Cybertruck bottle openers over the course of the last year or so since I started selling them. And this will be a good time, of course, for this Christmas to buy some more. But yeah, I just appreciate whatever you're doing. If all you're doing is hitting the like button, that's really phenomenal. It's been an interesting ride, not one I was expecting at this late time in life, to have a completely new profession to add to my what do you call it? Yeah. In case I need to go looking for work, I can now say, YouTube influencer. Anyway, so it's been wild. Okay. I laid out my expectations for market movers this morning. If you didn't see that video, I think you'll like it. It's quite went into quite a lot of detail over the next 6 months or so, talking about when I think various things are going to happen, and the things that I think are going to happen. And most of them are, some of them are things that would move the market 10, 15 points, probably. You never know. But anyway, you might want to take a look at that. I'll put that card up right there. And as I mentioned earlier, you want to hang around. Well, hang around. You want to hit notify, or just remember that at 7:45, Brian Wang will be on, and you definitely want to see that show. It is going to be a stunner. Well, I already know because we've already recorded it. So it's very, very good. All right. So that's all I got for you right now. It has been great talking to you.